I will start my reading practice from the book Clear Thinking by Shane Parrish. Admitting you are wrong is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. Admitting that someone has a better explanation than you shows that you are adaptable. Facing reality takes courage. It takes courage to revise your ideas or rethink something you thought you knew. It takes courage to tell yourself something is not working. It takes courage to accept feedback that bruises your self image. The challenge of facing reality is ultimately the challenge of facing ourselves. We must acknowledge the things we cannot control and focus our efforts to manage the things we can. Facing reality demands acknowledging our mistakes and failures, learning from them, and moving forward. The wrong side of right. Once in New York, after I had given a talk on making effective decisions, a woman in the audience came up to me with a question. The event had run late and I really had to get to the airport, which I apologetically informed her. In response, she offered to have her driver take me to airport if she could pick my brain along the way. As we got into the car, she started telling me about a very difficult problem she was wrestling with. She was one of the two candidates to become the next CEO of her organization and felt like the problem she was facing would make or break her chances. She walked me through the details and told me her proposed solution. Although it sounded as though her idea would indeed solve the problem, it was complicated and full of execution risk. But there was an alternative, a solution that was simpler, lower cost, and carried less risk. It was objectively a better solution. The only problem was that it was her rival's. As she detailed some of her thinking, she spent a lot of time and effort defending herself, trying to prove her solution was the better one. She only succeeded in making it clear that she knew her own solution was not the best. She was on the wrong side of right. She just did not want to admit it. Many people feel the same way. They think they will be worthless if they are not right. I myself used to feel the same way. Rather than let her figure out her mistake the hard way, I shared some of the harsh and expensive lessons I had learned about that mindset and about being on the wrong side of the right. I told her that for the longest time I thought if the best idea was not my idea, I would be nothing. I thought that no one would see me as valuable, that no one would see me as insightful, that I would not be contributing anything. I had my identity wrapped up in being right. It was not until I began running a business that I realized how wrong I had been. When everything is on your shoulders and the cost of being wrong is high, I told her, you tend to focus on what is right instead of who is right. The more I had given up wanting to be right, the better the outcomes I had. I did not care about getting the credit. I cared about getting the results. If you own 100% of this company and you could not sell it for 100 years, I asked her which solution would you prefer. There was a long pause before she answered. I knew what I need to do. She said, thank you. A few months later, my phone rang. It was her. You would not believe what happened, she said. I got the CEO job thanks in part to your help. It was a tough pill to swallow, but I ended up supporting my rival's solution, and that's what ended up tipping the scales in my favor. When the board saw that I could put aside my ego and do what was best for the company, even if it meant supporting someone competing with me for the same role, they knew I was the right person. Self confidence is the strength to focus on what's right instead of who's right. It is the strength to face reality, it is the strength to admit mistakes, and the strength to change your mind. Self confidence is what it takes to be on the right side of right outcome over ego. Thank you. That's it for the day.